So we're sitting here at the Oscilloscope offices with the Joshua Burge, the lead actor, and Joel Potrykus. Do I pronounce that right?
Nailed it.
Writer-director of a great, wickedly funny new film called Buzzard, which is being distributed by Oscilloscope. Joel, you wrote this film. Did you have Joshua in mind, or did you have to go through hundreds of actors before you found Joshua?
Yeah, Brad Pitt was interested, DiCaprio, but Josh is. This is
look the part.
Yeah, it didn't look the part. Yeah, no, I knew it was going to Josh. And sometimes when I'm writing something, I kind of hide it from him for a while and let him sweat it out. And that's the same on this one. Because for me, I don't like to write for a specific person. I don't want to write for Josh's personality. I want to keep it totally. Write a new character, and so I like to just bring him. This is the character. So even if he's sweating and he's not sure, it wasn't written for him, but I knew he was going to be the guy to play it.
How much collaboration? How much input did you have into what was gonna?
Not much. I prefer Joel writing it first, giving him his time, whatever he takes to do it.
I mean, I'll write it and then I bring it to him. And in my head, for Buzzard, Marty's somebody in my head, the way they act. But when I pass it off, it brings it to life in a whole new way.
Yeah, he gives me a second to sit with it and gather my own ideas, and then we start talking, and 95% of it we're on the same page, but there's devil's in the details. So.
Yeah, there's the writing the character, and then there's Josh actually rehearsing the lines, but then it all really takes a whole new twist when you call action, and it's like, oh, here we go. This is Mark now. So it's a multi-step process creating that character, any character. So sure.
Now, Joel, you also not only writing and directing, but also you play second fiddle. Or I would say you're just an equal part in the.
Second fiddle.
All right, well, let's call it second fiddle.
Comedy duo, right? So yeah. Comedian and straight man.
Yeah, I think so. But how does that work? I honestly have not seen your first film. Which is it available on Netflix by any chance, or Amazon, or?
Yeah, it's Amazon. iTunes.
Did you act in that one too?
No.
Oh, okay.
For this one, I mean, I wrote the character. And I knew the character of Derek so well. I just knew that guy. It was actually written specifically for a different actor who was named Derek, who in my head was Derek. Turns out in reality this guy was nothing like that character, and he actually really felt very unconfident even trying to give it a hack. And I was like, all right, that's fine. And we rehearsed this film for 8 months, which is pretty crazy. So, in all the readings, I read for the character of Derek. And then we started doing a lot of auditions. We'd have people come in. It was they were good. They're good actors, but they didn't have the, the back and forth.
Right.
That probably just really hurt Josh a little bit. You gotta yeah. Somebody who's able to really give it to him, and not feel bad. So it's all about, the friendship that we have really kind of brought that relationship together.
That's why I was pulling for Joel to get the part, because of that. I mean, we were friends, and the characters are friends, or were friends, or whatever. Yeah. But so we'd be able to work on it together, and we know what it's like to hang out. So whatever element that we would have had to try to create with another actor, we didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, we've had to kind of force some phony chemistry or something when we could just improv off each other and basically goof around a lot and have the courage to do things that two people who don't know each other. When it came time to he and I kind of fight in the movie, and a lot of people, I was like, give it to me hard. You know me, we've wrestled before. Let's get real with here. So kind of drawing from just our friendship, we're able to make it a little more real, and we're able to kid each other and just be brave enough to do that and just bring the real.
How far does this friendship go back? You guys from grade school, or?
From Michigan. and we both went to the same university.
Although at different times.
Slightly different times.
Slightly different.
I went to film school. Josh went to film school at the same place, but different times. But Josh is a musician by trade, so he was the guy that would play at the coffee shop across the street. So I kind of got to know him and some of his friends from a distance that way, and then just through the music scene and
certainly, yeah, as well as we knew of each other.
Yeah.
We really knew each other, I guess. So it was kind of like I seen Joel's first film, Gordon, in London. That was, I think, my really introduction to film work. Yeah. And then, yeah, through the music scene, Joel had filmed the band that I play in, and so we met each other that way. And eventually, we did a short called Coyote together.
Yeah, maybe like 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
Which film school was this?
This film school is a strong word.
Yeah. We're kind of at odds with this university right now because they're very unsupportive. But I'll say Grand Valley State University.
All right.
In Michigan.
Okay.
Yes.
And yeah, because I'm sure much is going to be made about the fact that this is, at least they're marketing it or talking about regional cinema. We had Napoleon Dynamite coming out of the Northwest, and this might be, part of that movement. So that's the reason I'm asking.
Yeah, and that's something we don't really obviously we don't consciously think. We live in Michigan. We're Midwestern guys, and that's just our world. So, I always thought it would come off as like a new world when we take it over to Europe. They'd be like, oh, this is a part of America we've never seen. But sometimes when we even show it like New York or LA, they're like, this is a part of America we haven't seen. Right. So it's like, it just kind of bleeds into the work without a whole lot of effort. It's just our world that we know.
And what about the resources in this part of the, this is the Midwest, right? This is Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan.
The cameras, what kind of cameras did you use?
We used a Canon 5D Mark III. And the Buzzard, the movie Buzzard and the character of Marty is kind of very much how our little film band, Sob Noise, runs. I mean, like, we bought that camera on eBay, sold it on eBay after we were done. Yeah. It's like, we didn't really have the money to, get a lot of stuff, but it was like, we could buy something nice as long as we just sell it after, and then it kind of just balances it out. So,
I used to do that with Radio Shack. I'd buy something for 30 days and return it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the big inspirations was Zal, who did Sound of My Voice. He edited that. I mean, that went to Sundance. He edited that on an iMac, and he did that. He would get it for 30 days, edit for 30 days, return it, buy another one the next day, and he did that for like 4 or 5 months. And Apple finally told him, please stop telling me in your Q&As. And I was like, so when I met that guy, I was like, man, that's a big inspiration to just kind of cheat the system. I appreciate the way you do it.
Now, some of these scams you pulled, did you try them in real life? You did?
This is all kind of based on my actual time as a temp in a mortgage agency, a mortgage company, where I had like too many bosses and none of them knew who assigned what to me. So whenever they come and like, Joel, can you do this? Carol's already given me this, and then Carol thought that Deborah would have given me something, and Deborah thought that Steven. So it was crazy. There was no accountability. If I was a little bit tired that day, I'd go out in my car and take a 2-hour nap. Like, it was crazy. It was just the most inefficiently run company I've ever been in my life, and I took full advantage of that. I mean, why not? I'm a temp, man. I was making $9 an hour, just like Marty. I was disgruntled, but at the same time,
no upward mobility.
No upward mobility. I was content with my freedom there, and I took advantage. Who cares? The mortgage companies. And then a couple of years later, they screwed everybody with the economic crisis. And
so you were in the right.
I was in the right. Justice had been served on those 3-hour breaks it would take.
Now, what about these locations? Were they difficult to secure? I'm assuming there were locations.
Yeah, I think like the basement is our producer's parents' basement.
But like the bank and the
bank, yeah, that was actually tricky. We had to get somebody who had a little more experience doing location scouting and managing. And she, her name is Alla. Because we live in the Big Apple, Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's the big time in Michigan. So she lives in a smaller city where they're a little more, they're a little more excited about, local film wants to shoot here, of course. So she got us like the banks, and I kind of hustled around and got some other spot to give somebody $50 for an hour. I mean, we were so, guerrilla style, and we rehearsed for so long that we could come in, the DP would slap on the camera, one of our producers put up the mic, Josh would just nail it in like 2 takes. So we'd be in and out of every location in 45 minutes. And if they didn't give us permission, or we just didn't ask, we had a Canon 5D Mark III, so we could just hold it right there and, all right, put a wireless mic on Josh here and action, and he'd just go off and shoot it with no permits or permissions.
When the cops asked, we were just college students.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best.
We're just making a student film.
Stupid movie. No,
it's just a silly little thing. It's gonna go on YouTube. Okay, have fun, guys.
So if you added up the total expenses for this film before, right, just to get it in the can, how much did it cost?
I would love to tell you that.
Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of people that would kill me if I told you that.
All right.
Let's say it's under 50 million. I think we could say that.
Yeah, that's safe to say.
Safe to say.
Under 50 million.
All right, and you talked about 8 months of rehearsal. What were you working on during those 8 months?
We, we consider our little production team a film band. So it was just like our band would just jam out.
Just jamming.
You were taking ape around the previous film around the world at the time, so it was any time we could reconnect. It wasn't 8 solid months every day.
It's like, I'd say it's like once a week,
Yeah.
4 or 5 hours. We sit down with the script, start from page 1, go all the way to the end, and then kind of hit some other scenes, play it out, film the scenes, so we could play it back and watch for performances, and got the dialogue just as natural as we could. So, anybody who even had a small part, if you were a bank teller, you had to come in and hammer out the script for 3 or 4 hours. Like, it had to be, every detail had to be right, had to be totally natural. So nobody was just given a fluff part and told to show up 20 minutes before. Everybody came and kind of paid their dues. And unfortunately, we had to turn down a lot of friends who were like, come on, man, book me in a movie, give me a part. And it's like, you need to come to the audition. Like, we don't take ourselves seriously, but we take the film very seriously. This is our...
Well, and because we could only do 2 takes at a bank. We had to be prepared.
Yeah, we couldn't bring in some bumbling buddy of ours and just screw up our location that we only have half an hour in. So we just... it was just us basically hanging out at in Josh's house. Just go sit in his living room and just going over it once a week for 4 or 5 hours.
Now, I want to ask you about that meatball scene. Was that in the script, or that you were planning on? Just you told him to eat that as long as you want.
I'll give you the setup and let Josh take over. In the script, it just says Marty has the best plate of spaghetti he's ever had. And this is supposed to be Marty's time to really be happy, and the audience could really see him in a new element, him, in luxury finally. So, we had the producer make up some spaghetti and meatballs and bring it over. We only had 1 plate, and then this guy just kind of worked his magic.
That was it. We actually did 1 take right beforehand. Because we only had the 1 plate of spaghetti, I didn't start eating it. And Erin goes, what are you doing? Said, oh, you want me to eat this? This is the only one. This is it, right? Yeah, eat it. Go for it. So then we went to town on the second take, and I started eating it.
I didn't expect him to just shovel it in like that, and just so, I didn't know. Everyone's kind of looking over at me, the crew, like, do we yell cut? Are we done? And I'm just watching, like, shh. And the more he shoveled it in, the longer I let it go. It was just like, God.
And I'm thinking if I shovel it in a couple times, that he'll yell cut, because that'll look great, and you can just say cut, and then. But he didn't say cut, so I keep shoveling it in, and it's just building and building. Okay, I'll just take a giant meatball now, and he'll certainly say cut after this. But it didn't happen, so I just keep, and
I was just a fan of what we were shooting right there, so.
So did you just run it till the plate was gone?
We ran it, and in my head the whole time I'm thinking, like, how does this scene end? I don't know what to do. I don't want to just cut to black and not. I always like to have a little something at the end of a shot, to like. So I was just like. Yeah, just not laugh. So Josh is eating and he goes, ha! cut, and I went up and gave him a big hug, and it was just like everybody was totally loving that. So it's just one of those things that happens and you can't script it.
And then you have that one sight gag with the bugles and the stair mat or whatever the treadmill. So how did that come up?
That happened because we shot it, like I said, in our producer's parents' basement, and our producer's mom happened to have a treadmill down there, and so we went and we started decorating. I was like, boy, we can have a lot of fun on this treadmill. Like, I don't know what we're gonna do, but we can goof around a lot. So that was just one of the gags. It was like, let's just, I don't know, put some bugles on the treadmill and I'll eat them off there. That seems pretty funny. So yeah, that one stuck and seems to be a real crowd pleaser. It was not based on anything. I'd never done that. None of us had ever done that. Mm-hmm. But
getting the timing right, it moves down at an angle.
I didn't know if I ever knew that.
Yeah, so you have to start ahead.
So yeah, that was really Josh just sticking them on there.
I mean, we were really playing the game, trying to do this.
And we didn't even, there was no rehearsal. It was just like, let's just see what happens. And so he started laying bugles on there, and I didn't know how to end that scene. That was all improvised. At the end, he's like, oh, I was like, how'd I do? What was my score? And he's like, oh, you did good. I'll print you off a certificate for your cubicle. I would just felt like Derek would be really excited to have that certificate. So really? Cut. Like, it's just us goofing around,
So this relationship you had in the film, is that pretty close to what you have in real life? I mean,
yes, a real bully.
Yeah, I'm just an abusive friend. Yeah,
we're gonna start fighting on this couch at any minute.
Yeah,
I was just spread out there and
scooch down, man.
No, I wouldn't say it's like that. We've matured since age 14.
I think we've seen films or no literary figures or whatever where there's that type of sort of abusive buddy and kind buddy or whatever, and that type of dynamics is just interesting. So knowing that Marty was kind of a jerk anyway, and then Derek was a well-intentioned, good-hearted guy, like then we just absolutely played both.
It's a complicated dynamic, those two, but.
Yeah,
there's some subtleties.
There's some things going on there.
Yeah, there's definitely some things other than just a couple of goofy guys, for sure.
Now, are you guys planning to go Hollywood on us, or is that the next step?
Wait a second.
We're going to do, I'm casting Josh. They asked me to do the next Fast and Furious, and Josh is going to take over for the lead role, and we're gonna shoot it for like $25,000. It's going to be amazing.
I don't have a driver's license, but that shouldn't hold us back.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we don't need permits or licenses.
Yeah, what do we need those for?
Is this the first time that Buzzard's coming out, or it's been at other festivals before?
It premiered at South by Southwest a couple weeks ago.
Oh, what was the reception there?
That was really good.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew that was going to be a good reception there. It's a very
it's a great
hip crowd that would dig it. And so for new directors, that was going to be the big question mark, is how are people going to react to it. But last night was the New York premiere of it, and I'm telling you, man, the kids all came up and loved it, and the older, patrons who've been going there for probably 50 years, surprisingly came up and just was like, this was great.
No kidding.
I don't know if it feels...
This is at the Film Society?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I should feel bad about being as surprised as what the older crowd really
didn't give enough credit.
Really liked them.
Did not give them enough credit, but they go to the Film Society quite a bit. They see a lot of independent film. They've seen some crazy stuff, so this was just kind of a different crazy to them. I think they appreciated this weird view into the Midwestern wasteland, with a couple of weird guys.
And then tomorrow night is at the museum, I believe.
Tonight.
Right? So
it's
tonight. Oh,
okay. Tonight at the MoMA. Yeah.
All right.
And we shoot back to Michigan tomorrow.
Yeah. You guys working on what's the next? Are you guys working on something now for the future? Or?
3 scripts. I'm meeting with someone actually today to talk about some ideas and some money.
Hopefully, yeah. Plenty of that.
I'm done with. I think I'm just drawing a line with having family and friends pay for our films anymore. I want outside of money this time.
Do you like working with a 5D? Is that?
Yeah, it's got the good low light capability, and our DP bought some really, really nice Zeiss prime lenses for it, which made all the difference. I mean, it's all about the glass. So he has some good lenses, and him and the assistant camera, they're both mega camera geeks. So
Did you have more than one?
No,
or
just the one.
Just one.
And
Single.
we sold it, so we don't even have that anymore. So I don't know what we're gonna shoot on the next one. Of course, that'll be hopefully somebody else's money. So.
What were you editing on?
Premiere Pro.
Oh, okay.
And
That's a PC based
Mac.
program. Oh, it is Mac.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
In my bedroom.
Oh, it's Adobe. It's
Yeah, Adobe. Yeah, Premiere. That's great. I edited an ape on Final Cut. Oh yeah, I originally edited an ape on iMovie, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was some problems with the export at the frame rate where it exports at, so I had to re-edit the whole thing in Final Cut. Yeah, I sometimes think about that. And yeah, I don't know. I like Premiere Pro because you don't have to wait for like render times. Apply like an effect or like a color change on it, you just watch it instantly. So for me, I'm a Premiere guy now, for sure.
Well, that's fantastic. I really love the film. I wish you the best of luck and congratulations and good luck on the next project. And maybe I'll see you again soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.